Hi there, I am Deshi Valenti, and I'm going to take you on a journey for hackcom.org on how to set up an internet radio station. As you can see, we have two PCs here. That's what it's going to require for any decent internet radio station setup. I think on another episode maybe I'll walk you through on how to set it up with just one system and one sound card. It's a little bit more difficult and it costs a little bit of money because you're going to need a specific Sound Blaster card in order to do that. Right now we have this is our communication system that we use for being able to patch in Skype and other things. Basically what I'll do is I'll run you through what you're going to have in the end. The end result will be you will have an internet radio station being able to stream at 128K, which is fairly good quality for internet radio, and you will be able to have Skype or Asterisk patched in and be able to take calls from people using a regular phone. And so we start with the communication system. You're going to need a separate PC in order to get rid of echo, or you can do it on one PC with multiple sound cards. Now it's a lot easier for people starting out to just use two PCs. It'll save you a whole lot of headache when it comes to configuring things and setting up applications like Skype. So that's what we have on here. We have Skype, and we'll walk you through in a little bit on how to set everything up, but we're going to take you first through the hardware setup. Now you're going to need one sound card in your communication system, and what I like to use is I'm using a mixer over here, and we have everything running in through a mixer, but that is not absolutely required for a good internet radio station. So what you want to do is you want to take the output of this system, of your communication system, and you're going to run that to the input on your mixer or your other PC that you're using. I recommend really get a mixer. Save yourself some trouble. So you're going to run the output of your Skype system into your board, and then you're going to run send out. What I'm doing is I'm sending the microphone signals directly from the board to the Skype machine, so that way Skype only picks up the microphones that I have here and not any of their own audio coming back, which gives you that horrendous famous internet radio Skype echo that everybody dislikes very much. So that is basically the setup for your Skype hardware on that system. And then over here is yet another system. As you can see, there's tons of little cables and cords and wires and everything coming out of this one, because this is the grand poobah of them all. This is where the magic happens, and we're running dual sound cards on this system here, and that's to ensure everything working properly. Now what you want to do on this system here is you're going to run the output, your main output from your soundboard, which is our amplification output, and we run that to the input on our Creative Sound Blaster Live card. And then we also have the output from this system going to a separate channel input on the mixer, so if we feel like mixing live, we still have that option. So we're not totally cut off from all of our options as far as radio goes. You can still crossfade. You can swap channels back and forth and have everything good. And then we have finally a third, or on the second sound card, which is the Sound Blaster Audigy, and that gives us our output for our studio monitors here at Wicked Radio, so we're able to listen to exactly what our FM listeners are hearing and people on the stream are listening to. Now I'm going to take you on a little bit of a close-up of some of these connections here, and then we'll talk a little bit about the software that we're using for setting this all up and making the magic happen. On a little mobile shot here of the outputs once again. This is the Skype sound system. You can see it's very basic. You do not really need anything. Power cord, everything's running through VNC. We use real VNC for that. That is a good option for you in the actual studio system, which is there. It's a little bit confusing, especially if you're new, for setting up audio stuff, because there's a lot of wires and it can just give you a headache trying to set it up. So now we're going to take a little bit of a journey through to the software.
Alright, and now we're going to cover the software here used for, anyway, the Wicked Radio setup. We use VNC for everything here. This allows our remote DJs to be able to connect to the station anytime they want and take control. Now this is the Skype system we showed you earlier. Now this is just a default install on your Skype system, your communication. You don't have to do any special configuration. Everything's default. You just have basically it sit there and use VNC so that you're able to answer it for yourself if you're remote. So you can VNC to the Skype system and then VNC into your radio system if you're remote. And again, like I said, maybe on another show when I get some more time and more ideas, I'll put together another segment on how to do this with just one PC. It takes time and takes money and a lot of brain power to be able to do it with one PC. But that's the Skype communications part of it. And then what we do is we'll connect to Wicked Radio here and show you exactly what goes on. This is Wicked Radio is running live right now. The configuration options you're going to want to check. We're using Sam Broadcaster 4. This is a great piece of software. It's fairly cheap. I think it's about $99, I want to say. It's under $200. I know that much for sure. It's under $200. And you go to the config and then to your audio mixer pipeline, and you want to click on Air Out, and this is where you choose exactly where your audio is going to be outputted to. And for this system, it's going to the AC97 codec driver again. So that is our driver of choice. For some reason, it just sounds good. And make sure you choose if you want silent output to have no audio coming out over a monitor. I don't recommend that. You always want to know exactly what's going on, and then you can do it from the kernel directly, but direct sound output is your best bet. And that's the configuration options for your output. And then you have this voice effects panel up here, and you want to click on config, and this is where it brings your input from on your sound card. So like if you're plugged into the microphone jack, you wanna set that up and see. As you can see, we're using multiple sound cards in all our systems, and what you do is you just check whichever card you want to actually record from if you're using multiple cards. Otherwise, you'll just probably want to use the primary sound capture driver, which will use your whatever Windows is set to record from on the particular sound card that you're using. So it makes it really simple that way. And then you're going to go to your encoder. Now this view by default isn't on this screen. This would be on desktop B under encoders right here. And you want to add a new encoder, so you click the plus button and choose whatever you're going to be streaming to. Most people will just want to choose MP3. Other people like OGG, but you never know. To each his own. Choose whatever you want to choose. Click OK. And then you want to set your quality. I recommend for a really good stream, especially if you're streaming audio or music, I should say, at least choose 128 44.1 kilohertz stereo. And for talk radio, if you're just doing a little talk, maybe a tech talk show, then 48 or 32 kilobits a second, anything, mono even would be fine. So then you're going to select a 128 44K stereo and auto start encoder after 5 seconds. That's a good idea, because if for some reason your encoder fails or dies on you, that'll restart it and you'll get it going again automatically. And auto reconnect encoder after 15 seconds. That's a good idea to have that set up too. And then you're going to go to your server details. That's self-explanatory. If you've used Shoutcast, you got a choice with this program. That is why we like to use that at Wicked Radio. We can use different types of servers to connect to. And our server for this is actually located in a different spot. Setting up your own internet radio station doesn't mean setting up your own server, so we connect to a different server. So we can handle a lot of people. Now, if you want, a lot of people want to be able to record their podcasts and do it live at the same time. Well, you can do that with Sam by check marking save stream to file. You can save that and yada yada, ad infinitum to that, but it's pretty much limited. You can't do all the cool features that we do here at Wicked Radio. So what we're going to do now, that's basically, if you have any problems with Sam Broadcaster, you can go to spatialaudio.com, and we'll throw that web address up at the bottom of the screen for you, and you can go there, and they have a great forum section. It tells you all about it. This is scripted with Delphi through PAL Scripts, which is playlist automation language. It's very simple, it's easy to do, and you'll be off and running in no time. You know, it takes a while. You know, you got to come up with your ideas and plan of attack. Plan it out really good. I mean, seriously, make a nice Descript file if you have to on what you're going to do. So anyway, this is the basic layout. That's Sam Broadcaster version 4, and everything runs through that and goes to the stream. So that makes things easy for setting up the radio station. Now you want to record your podcast live? Okay, we got you covered there too. We're using Cool Edit Pro 2.1, and this is, some people like Adobe Audition. It's just bloated if you ask me, since Adobe bought out Cool Edit. You know, some people looking at the screen, wow, that doesn't look like, that looks just like Adobe, you know, and it's, yeah, because it is. Anyway, this is how we record our broadcast to make it a nice quality podcast. You know, you can use this, and then this is, you just go to your options and go to device order, and this will choose where you're recording and playing back from. You just want to make sure that you're recording from your output of your mixer. We have a record out channel on our mixer that comes to our input here on the station recorder, and that records it. And we'll do a little sample here. We choose, I do talk radio and music radio at 11,025 for the sample rate, and I use mono 16-bit. Now a lot of people frown on me for that, but you know, it's radio. You know, I'm not, if you want to listen to the music, I feature, you know, fresh music. But if you want to feature music, you know, and have a good quality, I suggest 44 up here. So we'll do that now, and you want to do that in stereo if you want to have the good quality broadcast. And all right, now we're recording that on there, and you can watch that real time, which is nice, because if you're streaming audio off of something else, like for our shows, we use MySpace to play the audio tracks that we feature on the radio, and it gives us a good chance to be able to see our audio levels real time. Not everybody has got a mixer like ours that has VU meters built into it, and can't monitor their levels. And you want to stay about -6 dBs at all times. You don't really want to go over that. Anywhere between about 9 and -6 is where you want to be. That's a good level, because that's just, you can work with it, you can amplify it, you can make it quiet, and it's just a good place to work with. Just remember, -6 dB, and that's going to be the way the cookie crumbled there on setting up your internet radio station. We covered Skype, and we're using Real VNC, Cool Edit Pro 2.1, and that's a wrap.
All right, and that's how you set up an internet radio station. Hope you got some information that might have helped you out a little bit. If not, you can venture over to wickedradio.org. And for Wicked Radio Studios, I am Dr. Deshi Valenti, and back to Cody.